My name is Nonima Tigela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I just want us to do a deep dive into Bongani Ntanzi's highlights in his evidence in that courtroom of Judge Ratta. I'm going to go through, I think I have about 8 things that I have highlighted that Bongani Ntanzi has dealt with. And with all those things, Ubaloyi did not get anything out of Ubongani Ntanzi. Ubaloyi did not crack, did not destroy Ubongani Ntanzi. So here are the 8 things that I've noticed when it comes to Bongani Ntanzi and the testimony that he's giving in court while he's sitting there for the past plus minus 10 weeks. Okay. Number 1, Bongani Ntanzi is in total denial of involvement in the murder of Senzo Meyiwa, our soccer star, the goalie of Orlando Pirates, and Bafana Bafana. Ntanzi completely denied being at the crime scene. And yes, I agree with him because the prosecutor, the so-called seasoned prosecutor, has not even managed to drop him there with evidence. The so-called seasoned prosecutor has not even managed to put Ntanzi at the crime scene with evidence, solid or not. He has not even managed to do that. He also, Ntanzi, he rejected the state's version that he was one of the intruders. Still, that again, there is nothing that says Bongani Ntanzi was an intruder because they said he had dreadlocks. He never had dreadlocks. They said he had a gold tooth. There was a Dr. Hlokwe that came in, a dentist that said, nope, he has never had a gold tooth. And the only thing is that he was tall, dark and tall. Yes, he is tall and dark. And then there are so many tall and dark people, okay? But the main ones, the dreadlock and the gold tooth, he never had them. So also he's like, I'm rejecting that. Don't put that on me. The other thing, he also rejected links to planning or execution of the murder, which again, Ubaloyi is struggling, has struggled and is currently struggling to pin him with that. So the core strategy was from Ntanzi, I was never there. I don't know these people that you are saying they are my co-accused. I do know accused number 1 because we are not far from each other's villages. When it comes to the entire situation that you are trying to paint me with, the murder of our goalie, I know nothing about that. Second thing, I don't know my co-accused. That's what he says, Bongani Ntanzi. Ntanzi testified that he does not know multiple co-accused, which is accused 3, 4, and 5. He don't know them. Claims he only saw some of them the first time in court in Boksburg on the 27th of October, 2020. He denied being at Basotho Hostel. This is also supported by Ugwabini, who is his friend because he knows him from Ingoma Dance Ndondon, and also by brother Gagwabini, who is Makosonke Zungu, or cousin yake, I don't know, but he also denies this because he's like, I've never been anywhere in Gauteng when Ntanzi was present. Okay. He also denies any meeting involving firearms. He also denies any criminal coordination. That is Bongani Ntanzi for you. And all of these things are working very well for him in his favor because Ubaloyi cannot rebut these things. He's unable to. Now, this directly collides with the state witness accused, Constable Zungu, who is placing him with the group on the 26th of October, 2014. No one has come to support the so-called Constable Zungu. The third thing, the confession bombshell. Okay, let's look into that. This is the heart of his testimony and also the heart of the matter when it comes to the state so-called evidence that they have against the entire case. Okay. Bongani Ntanzi claims the confession was not his words. He also claims documents were already prepared. There was a brown envelope claim that he says it was doing the rounds when he was busy being taken up and down to courts. Ne? And then he says he was forced to sign those documents. And he says he never voluntarily confessed he was coerced into doing that. His version is that police handed him documents to sign, forced him, beat him up, tortured him, electrocuted him, all of that shende. He was not narrating anything. The confession process was fabricated. Now, this attacks the legitimacy of the entire state case because they fully depend on Bongani Ntanzi's so-called confession. Point ASC and the fourth thing is allegations of torture and coercion. Ntanzi testified he was assaulted multiple times at multiple locations. He was taken to a dumping site and beaten up. He was slapped and verbally abused during arrest by Sergeant Mabena, the late Sergeant Mabena, who died when? 2021 or 2022, somewhere there. Also, he claims the confession is equal to a product of torture. That's why he ended up signing. He was just saving himself. He was tired of being beaten and tortured. He also said police forced compliance through fear and pain. So he had no choice. He felt like he had no choice. He was scared to die. Okay. Now, what is the legal impact when it comes to this? If believed, confession becomes inadmissible at a later stage. This is why the case had a trial within a trial, because Ntanzi is denying the confessions. That was a point yesine of his testimony. Those, and then number 5, contradictions in his own testimony. It was nothing major. It's still nothing major. It did not help anyone. It did not make any difference in his testimony. It did not make any difference in the state's struggling case. So this is where the state tried to hit hard, okay, or attack hard. Key inconsistencies for them that they took as key: conflicting dates of assault. Ntanzi said 18 June, Mngomezulu said 18 to the 19th of June, and there is some sort of pikisana, of which Ntanzi is not really denying that. He's saying, I was there at night until 12 midnight. I don't really know the time. So when the AVL came, it proved that it was from the 18th until the 19th of June, in the early hours of the 19th of June. So still, it's not a real inconsistency because it is backed up by AVL. Now, Ntanzi ended up saying, well, then I don't remember because it's too much, okay? Confusion about whether he was informed of his rights. There is that, there is a paper that he was given for the so-called Nongoma case. And now for this one of Meyiwa, no. Timeline of events after arrest, no, he's been good when it comes to that, but Baloyi wants to make it look like there's something there. Now, state argument, they are going to argue he is unreliable and changing his version, of which, in my view, no, that did not happen. That is just me. Now, number 6, phone and data evidence pressure. Prosecutor George Baloyi confronted him with phone records, airtime purchases, alleged prison phone use, no, police station for a cell, police station holding cell phone use. Now, when it comes to this, Ntanzi's response is he denied having a cell phone while he was incarcerated in police cells. He denied that, because they say they found it while he was still moving up and down in police holding cells. He denies making those calls that Baloyi claims it was him who was making them. He claimed evidence was new or not disclosed properly, which he did not lie. Now, this created a fair trial versus evidence reliability battle against Kesana Ubaloyi. Point number 7, arrest and alibi drama. Arrested 16 June 2020, his version, police confused his identity, called him by a wrong name, didn't explain the arrest properly. They gave him Siyanda Buthelez's name. So they gave him that. On alibi, he said he wasn't sure where he was on the day of the murder. He suggested he could have been at work in Northwest Rustenburg or Marikana, wherever that is, could have been at home in KZN, could have traveled. He's not quite sure. but he knows if he is not at work, and if he's not at work, sometimes he is at home. So if his Tonton is not saying his Google what is not saying he was at work, then it will say he was at home. What a pity, because they do not have that section 205 that was going to tell us. Now, this is a weak alibi, became a major vulnerability for his alibi, because we don't really have that. As much as he doesn't have to prove anything, but if we had that thing that says, I was in KZN doing ABCD, it's not shown. But wait, there is a statement that shows that he was in KZN, because Ubalo tried. It's just that he was trying to hide what I'm hoping Ramsipile is going to deal with that. I'm hoping Ramza is going to deal with that. Point number 8, the last one, direct clash with investigator version. Now, lead investigator Bongani Gininda testified Ntanzi confessed voluntarily after being confronted with a failed alibi, a suspect sketch resembling him. Well, Ntanzi does not have this beard. Ntanzi denies everything, says confession was forced and staged. This is direct credibility or police version versus accused version. Now, what the bigger picture when it comes to all of this, what his testimony really does. One, it destroys the confession if believed. Entire state case relies heavily on confession, links derived from it. If his version stands, the case collapses structurally. There's nothing that Baloyi can do. Number 2, but his own version has weaknesses here and there. Memory gaps, contradictions, weak alibi, denial of almost everything. Risk. Court may see him as evasive or unreliable, because this is Judge Rata, okay? Number 3, defense strategy clearly visible. Shift case from did he do it to can the state prove anything legally? It focus police misconduct, procedural unfairness, evidence contamination. So its defense is busy with that, and it's showing, okay, all of that. Now, Bongani Ntanzi's testimony is not just a denial. It's a full attack on the investigation itself. He is essentially saying the confession is fake, the police are abusive, the evidence has been manipulated, the case is flawed, and no one can tell us otherwise, because we were witnesses in that courtroom. We listened to that evidence, so we saw all the cracks in it. So no one can tell us anything other than what we've seen. What are your thoughts when it comes to this? Thank you so much. I will see you on our next video. Please tell me, what did you notice when it comes to the evidence of Bongani Ntanzi? Is he wrong for saying, I know nothing, the confession was fake, case is collapsing? What are your thoughts? Let's talk. I'll see you on our next video. Bye-bye.